On the big brassy chair.
Somehow you've stumbled across Tristan and Kyle Are Boring, the podcast. And now, a word from our sponsors. House Party Loaner. If your parents are going out of town and you don't want them to think you're a loner, hire House Party Loaner. Todd will come over and trash your house. Your parents may love you more, who knows? Todd's parents don't love him and he's gainfully employed. Todd no longer works for House Party Loaner. Free cash. Would you like a large quantity of unmarked, non-sequential $20 bills? Never mind.
House Party, not a loner. If your parents love you, you probably have lots of friends. You probably throw epic parties that you don't have to fake. House Party, not a loner, uses a fist in cadence Al Gore rhythm to pair you with a loner from a different company. That person will come over and clean your house. House Party, not a loner. Hell yeah! Todd now works for House Party, not a loner.
Bork Bork. Have dogs that bork? Bork Bork.
This is my audition reel for any and all voice work.
On the big brassy chair.
So you got just two voices?
No, I got more.
Let's hear
it.
it. I want to hear them.
No.
So badly.
No.
Fine. I'm cutting
But
all
no,
of that.
baby. What'd you say?
I'm cutting all of that then.
Fine. It was French lemon juice.
Ooh.
So good. Your face.
How fun. Well, today would have been episode 10. 10. I think we're going to end at 10.
Oh.
Yeah, take a little break. Maybe do the car thing? I don't know. Who knows? But instead of it being episode 10, it's episode 9 again.
Nine again.
Yeah. We just got some special effects too.
Special effects too.
Just this good echo. Special effects 2. So we recorded a lost episode. It wasn't lost at the time, but now it is.
Yeah.
So this is episode 9. So I think we're going to structure it a little bit differently.
Okay.
We have the info from the Lod podcast. Info from the last podcast, and the info from the last podcast that we did that got erased. So you'll see or hear the highlights from the last one by the information that I obtained for the last podcast that is now erased. So we'll do all that. There's quite a bit to get through for that. I think we'll mention our movies. We won't go over them very much. And we'll also still do our obituaries. And some of our information for our sports news will be in info from last podcast. So
Sports news.
You get it.
Yeah, sports news.
You're on the up and up. You understand. Yeah. Well, the first thing that we're going to go over is from, I guess this would be episode 8. Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah. So, first is movies with the Twin Towers in them. From what I found from Wikipedia, there are 744.
Oh, cool. So that's what we're going to spend this whole podcast on, is you just reading all of them?
No. And there were 131 that happened after 2001.
No.
So some of those were ones that were finished after 2001, but they filmed the Twin Towers before 2001. Some of them were ones where they digitally put them in or used stock video. So, there's that. Do you have anything to say about that?
I sure don't.
All right. Well, the next subject that's near and dear to Tristan's heart is, why do dogs pee in the house? Pet MD was a super basic. Like, oh, you must not have a dog because I'm telling you stuff that only people with dogs know.
Right.
So they pee in the house. Number 1, because they're overexcited. No shit?
Really?
You serious?
Are you serious, Clark?
Are you serious, Clark? Number 2, out of submission or fear. So dogs pee when they're scared. Shocking. Very shocking, Pet MD.
Yep, thank you.
Third one, and I think this is the big one that may actually shock us out of all the ones that are on this list. They're not house trained.
Cue mind-blowing sound here.
We'll do that in post effects. We'll be fine.
Perfect.
And then the last one is some male dogs like to mark their territory.
That's the last one.
Yeah.
There's nothing about incontinence.
Well, this is Pet MD. So first article I came to, read all of them, I was like, this is such bullshit that I don't want to say it. But then also I was just like, I think everyone should hear how dumb Pet MD is about suggestions about why your dog's peeing in the house.
Okay.
I think the last one, which is kind of a hidden one, is I couldn't find it, but someone told me about one of the other reasons Pet MD says your dog pees in the house is because they have a bladder. So that's super helpful as well.
Okay, yeah, that is really nice. Thank you.
Checks out for sure. But I found another source. This was under a website called The Spruce Pets. Common issues are urinary tract infections or other urine infections. So if your dog is house trained, isn't peeing because they're excited or scared, take your dog to the vet. They may have something going on with their bladder or their pee-pee. Definitely their pee-pee. But you get it.
For sure their pee-pee.
Their dog dong.
No.
Another one is incontinence. Obviously, they mentioned if it seems intentional, then it's probably go back to infection. So if it doesn't seem like the dog's doing it to get back at something, like they don't do it right after you scolding them or taking something away, then it's probably incontinence, and again, find out what's causing that incontinence. Other ones, dementia, senile, kidney failure. So definitely,
God.
yeah. So if it doesn't, for anyone out there who has an older dog or a dog that is house trained, and it's not retaliating, or oftentimes for us it seems like he is retaliating, but it's never right after something. So if it's not reactionary to something, then definitely get the dog to the vet, because they may have something going on inside of them that's causing them to do it unintentionally.
Okay.
So we will probably be taking Cheech to the vet soon.
Yep, probably.
Which is good though, because they're actually due for the vet
That's
as well.
true.
So Mason needs to go for her happy pills.
They both need checkups.
Yeah.
But
checkups. It does say one of the options that is good to use, obviously not as a permanent thing, is using doggy diapers.
Oh, we're doing all the things right. We just have to take him to the vet now.
Exactly, yeah. Plus he looks so cute in it.
That's true. Looks like a mean old baby.
One of the things from episode 8 was that we used the sampler. In the last podcast we used it. I'm not going to use it this time because it's just DJ Khaled stuff.
Right.
We're going to figure out another sampler that we can use to do custom stuff. But one of the questions we had during the podcast is can anyone hear this? Listen to it, and I'm sure you did as well, because this is episode 9 and that was on episode 8. No spoilers. You could not. Can't hear it. No. Nope, just the sound of me hitting the trackpad on my laptop. So that's cool. So episode 9, so I guess this will kind of get you, some of this is based on random bullshit we're talking about movies. Some of it is based on our subject that we chose. So kind of fill in the boring banter that we normally have, I guess.
Yeah. Should be fine.
So the first one is, how do you get on Yelp? Any guesses, Tristan?
You mean as a commenter or as a business?
As a business.
Oh, well, I don't know. You just register as a business? I have no idea.
The first step that I found on Yelp's website is that if you're already on there, thumbs up. So I'm going to give that Yelp instruction a 1 star on Yelp.
Yeah, 1 Yelp star.
And if you aren't on there, then click the Add Your Business button.
Okay.
So
helpful step by step.
Do not vet at all. We can go on there right now and just add a business.
Should we add our podcast as a business?
Yeah, we should.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, well, I don't want to need like a bunch of people showing up outside our window, you know.
Yeah. But it could be like things to do in Portland. Listen to this boring ass podcast.
Maybe. Yeah. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see if we have the time. Who knows? The next one, though, is inside baseball.
Right.
So Tristan had used the term inside baseball, which she explained was... She's going to explain it to you right now.
Oh, okay. Inside baseball is when you get too nitty-gritty with an explanation of something where it's like, for instance, when you're talking to somebody about baseball and you go inside baseball and it's like stats and shit that nobody really cares about unless you're really into it. And I think it comes from an old telecast or radio program that was like, you know, welcome to Inside Baseball. And they talked about all the stats and the players and to a granular level that nobody really cares about.
Well, most of it's right. So the origin of the term inside baseball stems from a player named Edward Hugh, nicknamed Ned Hanlon. So Edward Hugh Hanlon, nicknamed Ned. So he was considered to be one of the founders of the term inside baseball, a term which originally referred to a style of play which relied on bunts, stealing bases, and minor hits rather than flashier techniques such as home runs.
Oh, like inside
not necessarily
the bases?
No, so not necessarily that, which I mean I guess maybe you could think of it that way, but
infield?
Not necessarily that, but I guess you can think of it that way. But more of just like, you know, like how do you score runs? You know, you hit it over the fence, so on and so forth. But you can also score a lot of points by doing the small things correctly, like bunts and running the bases properly and getting steals and all these small things that aren't as flashy, aren't as interesting. And so, yeah, that was pretty much where it came from. I guess the term that when he originally used it, that I guess as far back as they can, as it goes, that they can tell, was used in 1890.
Oh my god.
Yeah, because baseball's been around for a long time.
Evidently.
Yeah, baseball's been around for a very long time. The first time that inside baseball was used as the term that's now used nowadays was in 1952 in the Boston Traveler. Got a quote here for you.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Tristan likes quotes.
I do.
Live, laugh, love. It's her favorite one.
Dance like nobody's watching.
So good.
So nice.
So the quote is, the evidence indicates the Eisenhower staff is going to have to learn their inside baseball the hard way. Yeah.
Wow. And who said that?
Someone from the Boston Traveler.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. I don't know if they're still alive. We'll find out next time.
My guess is no.
Yeah, I'm also don't find out next time because that would be a lot of work. I'm not going to do that for you.
Mm-mm.
I know you're dedicated. You like to hear all the stuff we don't know that we decide to talk about during a podcast. But I'm sure you don't want another one of these where I'm just ranting off a bunch of facts to you. So
Yeah, so tough shit.
yeah, when Tristan is over there. Yeah. Oh, okay. Are we watching burlesque? She says yes. So.
Please stop bullying me.
Bully. Well, today inside baseball is used more often to describe non-sporting matters and typically denotes things that are, well, basically things that which only few inside
like industry
people
talk.
care. Well, yeah, just like, you know, like everyone makes fun of like people who are into like records and stuff, and they name like all these weird jazz musicians from, you know, so like that kind of stuff.
Mm.
Everyone's like, okay, that's great. I didn't need to know that.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah. The next one is super interesting. Also, I couldn't remember the actual name because I think when we were doing the Lost podcast, it's not coming back either. This isn't a gimmick. My computer is old. I need a new one. But I kept on thinking it was Dr. Parnassus' Wonder Emporium. But it's not. It's the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus is the name of the movie.
Easily misconstrued. I mean, like, what you said is basically the same thing, except for just different words.
It's a bunch of mouthful of stuff with Dr. Parnassus.
Bunch of mouthful.
Bunch of mouthful. But yeah, have you seen that movie?
I have. I think so. Isn't that the one where everybody plays Heath Ledger because he died during the filming of it? So, like, people switch out and play him?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Did you know anything about that director?
No.
So, what's strange, I think there's been, like, Heath Ledger is now, not now, but then, because that actually came out a while ago now, was, like, the fourth person that's died on one of the movies that the director did.
What?
Yeah.
Is he a murderer? Who's the director?
Find out next time.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah. But, yeah, so it was just crazy. I mean, who knows, you know.
Wow.
But there you have it. The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus. The next one is very lengthy, and I'll try to read it as eloquently as possible to you.
Let's find out.
But we also talked about, I can't remember how it came up, but explaining a color without using the word of the color.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is the one that I found. And it is, like, the first part is pretty nice. And then it kind of turns a little bit.
Oh, like dark?
Well, I'll let you and all the listeners be the judge of that.
So me.
And the dogs.
Okay, cool.
So, what I found, you can Google it. It's out there. There's a lot of ones where, like, instructions on how to explain colors to blind people.
Oh, that's nice.
But this is one that I found, like, originally that I was referencing the last time. The writer writes, when you dip her in the middle of the dance floor, it's the color of her dress. When she whispers in your ear, it's the color of her lips. When you make love, it is a trace you want her to leave all over your body. I'm going to stop there for a second.
This is getting graphic. Additionally, it's like...
It's like someone posted on Reddit, like, try to explain, like, a color without saying the word, and some guy's like...
Some guy wearing a beret in his basement.
Just, crack the old knuckles, and is like, mess with the wrong guy today.
Alright, let's get descriptive, motherfuckers.
I love period blood. That's what that last line makes me think of. I don't know about you.
Oh, God.
What did you imagine when I said that?
Not period blood. Oh, my God.
When you make love, it is the trace you want her to leave all over your body. What other would explain red to that? Oh, yeah, he's explaining red, by the way. I should He's not explaining a bunch of different colors.
I wish you would have started with that. You didn't say that.
That's fine. It's okay.
Oh my god. Then yeah, I guess that does sound like period blood. I was like, why did that come out for no reason? It could just be like the lingering feeling of being with a lover.
I guess. What color would that be, though?
What? The lingering feeling?
Yeah.
I guess it depends on who you are. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's nice and like descriptive, but if you are blind, it still doesn't help you understand what a color is.
Yes.
It just describes how a color makes you feel.
Yes, but so the original thing I found is like explain the color red without saying the word. So that's what this is.
Well, now I get that.
Yeah. There's more.
Doesn't that make you think of period blood? Well, it didn't. Now it does.
Good. Glad we're on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's more, though. So, buckle up.
I'm here.
Hold on to your butts. Give me two, Utah. All right, ready?
Let's do it.
When she places her palm over your heart, it's the color that comes to the surface as her fingertips trail like a sentence that can never be finished. Wow.
Oh my god.
So sweet.
I am sliding off this chair.
Yes. We put puppy pee pads below Tristan so we wouldn't have any issues.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, what are these for? I was like, we'll see.
You'll find out. Right
now. This is where it gets fun.
I'm upset already. Go ahead.
When you see her in your bedroom with another, is the color of your breath. When you smash
red?
Apparently.
Oh my god, like anger breath?
Apparently. When you smash the vase in the hall, is the color that threatens your abandon. I mistyped some stuff. Threatens your abandon something, the shattered pieces. So I'm guessing that's more blood.
Oh my god. This is very bloody.
Yeah. When you scream at the top of
This is just the script for that last episode of Game of Thrones. The Battle of Winterfell.
No spoilers, Tristan.
Well, it's a battle, and I don't know anything about it, but I'm assuming there's blood.
Well, there's a red wedding. And that one's a bunch of blood, too. I don't know. Who knows? Anyways.
Okay, cool. Go ahead.
We're into better things right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's see.
The vase.
Yeah. The vase, I think, is talking about you're probably bloody from throwing it or something. I don't know.
Or something.
When you scream at the top of your lungs, it's the color that pierces the atmosphere. When she hears you, it's the color of her pulse.
Oh my God.
When you look in her eyes for the last time, it is the fading color of your heart falling to your knees.
Oh boy. This is super emo.
It is not the color you see when she leaves.
What color do you see when she leaves?
Probably blue.
Your face, as a matter of fact. Probably blue.
Yeah. These rose-colored glasses.
Okay.
Well, the next one is near and dear to everyone's heart if you are a pure-blooded American. What size shoe does Woody Harrelson wear?
Ooh, yeah, what's the answer?
Well, Woodrow Tracy Harrelson, born July 23rd, 1961, was born in Midland, Texas,
Oh, okay.
wears a size US 10 or a Europe 43.
That's pretty small for a dude, isn't it?
10? No, I think 9 is like the display size. Find out next time. I don't know. I think 9 is the display size, so 10's pretty accurate.
Oh, okay.
I didn't get his height. Find out next time.
All right.
Find out next time. Find out next time. Find out next time.
Find out next time.
You're gonna find out next time.
Find out next time.
You'll find out next time.
Find out next time.
Next time, baby.
Next time, baby.
So, size 10.
There you have it. Okay, cool.
And there you have it. The next one is, what is the baby on board sticker for? I was correct, even though you listening do not know that I'm correct. From what I remember, it is for emergency services to know that there is a baby on board. And in fact, that is what it's for, stemming from about 1982 is when they started putting those stickers or placards on cars.
Interesting. I feel like, though, also a car seat would be a dead giveaway.
Sometimes, yeah. But that's the thing is, I think what we talked about last time is like if the baby gets thrown from the car or the car is like crushed, you can't really see inside too well. You need the jaws of life.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Scary.
Jewels of life.
The jewels of life.
It's the Jaws of Life. It's the Facts of Life theme song, but with just the Jaws of Life. Gonna take a quick break here.
Taking a break, taking a break, taking a break.
And we're back.
I thought you were going to sip.
Dip. Oh, cheers.
Hair.
Patty's Irish Whiskey.
That's not Patty's. It's Broker's, you fucking maniac. Doesn't it taste like regret? That's how you know.
Official sponsor. Tristan and Kyle are boring. Brokers. Taste like regret.
Mm-hmm. Tastes like bad decisions.
Look out, Jaeger. There's a new team in town.
Chris.
Anyways, well, I'm going to jump ahead. I'll go back, but since we're on that, the other thing that we talked about, what we did talk about, because I wanted to bring a positive note to it, is we were talking about Patty's Irish Whiskey and the fact that it's not horrible and how that's not a good endorsement, but also great because it's less than $20. So whiskey for a fifth that's less than $20 is usually not good, but this one is pretty good.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. That brought us to another one when we were talking about how Irish whiskey is the only whiskey for you and for me.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're listening to this podcast, probably you, because you're probably drunk, because how else would you be listening for this long so far? But another one that we tried was Slain Irish Whiskey, and I was able to confirm that it is called Slain.
Slain.
Slain. Sounds like a character from DC Comics.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's because there's one called Slade. Anyways.
And one called Bane.
One called Bane.
And also one called Bane.
One called Bane. One called Bane.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's that one, and then the one that I really like that I think is good, not just because it's cheap, even though it is cheaper, it's a little bit cheaper than Jameson, is a brand called Hellcat Maggie, and I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Anyways, so that's catching us up on that, piggybacking on the brokers, full of regrets.
Mm-hmm.
The next one, so we're talking about...
Excuse me.
What were we talking? We were talking about something, and it reminded me of a joke. Maybe you'll remember what we were talking about after this joke.
Okay.
But I think one of the first dad jokes I heard from someone that wasn't my dad was we were over at this family's house,
Oh, right.
and they were all about Velveeta cheese. They would always melt the Velveeta cheese, and we'd come over and eat a bunch of cheese and chips.
I
Which
mean, it
is
sounds nice.
True-blooded American right there.
Yep.
But the first, the joke that he told me was like something, it doesn't really matter the delivery, it's just the punchline, and it's not great. So if you're only interested in listening to this because of high quality material, you should mute right now.
You're in the wrong spot.
So, if you're, what was it, the phones? Yeah, this is probably super interesting to go on right now. But the joke was, I always feel bad when I'm driving through those neighborhoods, whether they have those signs and they're like, slow kids playing. And it's the worst, it's like bad enough that they're slow, and they already have to like mention that they have mental disabilities.
Mm-hmm.
So, not great. Now, I mean, can't get away with that joke now. We can now, because no one knows who we are, and no one listens to this.
Right.
Also, we don't really feel that way, but...
Also, I think that everybody knows somebody that's made that joke.
Yeah, it's not a new joke, for sure. But we were just talking about something that reminded me of that. Yeah. We're also talking about... phone numbers. Why were we talking about phone numbers? About memorizing? Oh, yeah. My friend... who are twins. Yeah, that'll come up in a second.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
We'll jump to that information too that we didn't have. But yeah, my friend Tristan had like asked me, one of our subjects was, did you ever want to be a twin when you were growing up?
Mm-hmm.
So we told each other stories about twins, about our friends, and we were talking about how you used to memorize your friends' phone numbers.
Right.
So that you can call them because you're a child and
right.
you don't have a cell phone. Yeah, and so the information I found on that, I tried to see, I couldn't find anything about, is there a word or a term for wanting to be a twin?
Oh.
Because there's a word for like everything.
Right.
Even if some of them I feel sometimes are made up, but I couldn't find anything on that. But I did find some information on other things that were related to that subject. Some things that we had mentioned as well. Part of it was thinking maybe like you were a twin and like you got adopted separately.
Oh, like a phantom twin?
Yeah. We got into that. We got into doppelgangers. But there is a term, not necessarily a term, but a term for the thing that I wrote down is there a term for wishing you were adopted? And it's not necessarily a term, but I'm sure you can guess who came up with this terminology or study called family romance syndrome.
Oh.
It was a theory brought up by a man named Sigmund.
Oh.
You may have heard of him.
Mr. Freud.
So yeah, I mean, it just dives into the fantasy of wishing that you were adopted, and he says that it's very common, especially as you're a child. There's a certain age that you feel that way, and it's the experience that everyone goes through, whether they wish they were adopted or fantasize they were adopted or not. It's a problem where you come to a certain age where you're making decisions for yourself and making up your mind, and you go one of two directions. Either you accept and agree with your parents' beliefs and the way they look at things and do things, or you don't.
Right.
And so the family romance is, the idea that you have parents that are out there that are more like you, who have the same ideals as you, And you imagine that you're adopted and your real family's out there and you'll meet them one day and they'll be into the same things that you are and think the same way as you. So yeah, I found that at least,
Nice.
Yeah. So to piggyback on that as well, we talked about doppelgangers. Originally, there were 2 different lores that had started. Doppelganger comes from, I'm sure you can guess, German.
Mm-hmm.
But its original meaning comes from 2 different words in German, and then their meanings when you put them together is double goer.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, and the folklore behind it is like there's someone out there that looks like you or is identical to you. The first half of the lore that some people believed is that it was like an evil spirit or bad luck.
Okay.
And the other one is someone who looks just like you, is just like you, and technically is you, but is your evil self.
Oh, that's so spooky. Good for you, though, for knowing that.
Yeah, I can't remember how. I think there was like a song or something from a band called Doppelganger, and when I was like younger, so I looked it up. I was interested.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So there's that, and so this is that's mainly a German word. It's nowadays everyone uses doppelganger.
Right.
But for a long time it's just Germans that use that word. So English-speaking people, the information that I found is that in the Provincial Glossary of 1787,
Okay.
they use the term fetch, which I think they use in that show Supernatural.
Oh, like in place of doppelganger?
Well, kind of.
Or like from Mean Girls, fetch.
No, not that kind of fetch.
Oh, okay.
No, they use it for. I think they use it for shapeshifters.
Oh, interesting. That makes sense.
Yeah. So that's kind of all on top of itself. Yeah. The next one is not very interesting,
Cool.
but Tristan had randomly said clever boy in a British accent, or to me it seemed like a British accent, which triggered it. So we're trying to figure out, I think that's from Doctor Who. It was Clara.
Clara.
It was Clara. So yeah, were little things she used to say to Matt Smith, which is the name of the actor who played the Doctor when she would say that. Whatever. Not super interesting, but we try to bring the facts here.
Bring the facts.
Bring the facts, baby.
Bring the facts, baby.
The next one I'm going to skip over because I think this one is going to be a hot top for sure.
Okay, hot tops. Let's go.
No, I'm going to save that one. I'm going to keep going with the really boring ones first.
Cool.
Tristan had asked what a staff sergeant is, so I looked it up.
What a staff sergeant is?
Yeah, you were like, what's a staff sergeant? I didn't claim to know, but you asked the question. There's no way of proving it because it's a lost episode.
Huh. Okay.
I looked it up though.
I'll believe you.
Because you asked, and if you didn't ask and it was all a fever dream, if those of you listening don't know what a staff sergeant is, which I don't think the dogs do.
Probably not.
A staff sergeant is a non-commissioned officer in the U.S. Army ranking above sergeant and below sergeant first class.
Oh, I know why I asked that.
Oh.
Figured it out.
Okay. Do you want to...
No, we'll visit it later.
Oh. Am I in trouble?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Well, cool. That's good to know. Well, so one of the sections that we're not doing, but we are doing, because we have things to share about.
What's your hot top?
Well, we'll get to it.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to take a quick break.
Taking a quick break, taking a syrup. Taking a quick break, taking a syrup. Taking a quick break, taking a sip. Taking a sip, taking a break, taking a quick sip.
Stater Brothers.
Farmer's Market.
So one of the things that we talked about
Mm-hmm.
for our sports topic, we'll use kind of piggybacking, it'll be our sports topic this time, but there's also information we need to go over that we didn't know last time.
Okay.
So we'll jump straight into the info that was on the last podcast, the Lost podcast. It was not going to come up because it is lost because I have an old computer and you're caught up again. Just killing time here.
Killing time here.
So Do you remember what our sports news was?
I think it was that we made it to the semifinals.
Yeah, semifinals. We beat Oklahoma City.
OKC?
Yeah. A couple highlights from the last podcast. First of all, if you have been listening to this podcast and you are interested in it, full disclosure, you're not going to enjoy this coming up.
Right, that's fair.
The other thing is we also discussed if you were young enough to where you don't remember having to memorize people's phone numbers, you're probably not going to like the rest of this podcast.
True.
Or anything that came before.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're old enough to remember having to memorize numbers, you're probably not going to like the rest of this podcast or what came up before.
Okay. All fair game.
All fair stuff. You've been forewarned. So, there's plenty of stuff to listen or watch on YouTube. So turn the channel. This will not be fun for anyone.
Right.
But original topics that we had talked about, the shot everyone is saying was 37 feet. Statistics that Tristan had found or heard or saw or whatever was 34.
Mm-hmm.
Other information I found on it is some science people were like, well, based on how long it was in the air, so on and so forth, it might have actually been 40 feet. I don't know if that's true. Whatever. Other info. Damian Lillard scored 50 points in that game,
right.
which he set a franchise record
Mm-hmm.
for playoffs. Also, he is tied with Kevin Durant for the most points in the playoffs at the time that we did the original episode 9 podcast.
Okay.
Other information, Damian Lillard at the time of the last podcast, which was right after their
Big
playoff win.
Yeah.
So, didn't have any games for a little while after. They've had a game before. They'll have one tomorrow, which will come out before this is released for sure. Also, we're recording 2 days early because we were busy.
Yeah.
So,
busy peeps.
it's the kind of inside baseball stuff I know our diehard fans really like. So,
truly.
But yes, so all this is at the time kind of stuff. But other things, Damian Lillard at the time was 8 for 12 for 30 plus feet from the rim, which is important because the rest of the league, when you combine everyone, were a total of 6 for 38 from 30 plus feet. This was a lot more impressive to Tristan at the time. All this is falling on pretty deaf ears at this point, but, well, there's no going back. So, plus
it's not deaf ears. I still care about it. But I've been caring about it for over a week.
Yeah. This is old news to us, even though most of the stuff we talk about is old news to everyone. But now we know how you feel.
Right.
Other information that we had, last time that they went to pass the first round was 2015.
Yeah.
The other thing that we talked about was how Paul George and a lot of people were saying it was a bad shot.
Right.
We talked about how, yes, it is a bad shot, like if you're Shaquille O'Neal.
Right.
Shaquille O'Neal is 34, even 30 feet, even behind the three, even with Paul George guarding him, who Paul George is 6'9".
Right.
We didn't know last time, and Shaquille O'Neal is 7'1". Now, still a height difference for sure, but we use Shaq as an example because,
He's one tall motherfucker.
Yeah, well, not just that, but it's just like we wanted to use someone who people wouldn't know because I don't think at this point anyone is listening to this for the fact that they like sports. So Shaq, we use him as an example. Is it a bad shot? If Shaq took it, yes. It's Damian Lillard, but he's really good. So for us, it was like, it's not a bad shot, so on and so forth. Shaquille O'Neal, 7'1". So last time the Trailblazers won a championship, we weren't sure, 1977. How many games?
Oh, I knew that. I don't remember being asked that question.
Yeah. I mean, at the time, it was brought up. I don't know.
Okay. That's why I have that bar. 1977.
Oh, wow. The more you know.
Yep.
The next one was how many games were the crazy shot versus the Rockets versus how many games were this one against the Oklahoma City Thunder. That game was the 2014 playoffs, and the win series went Blazers, second game Blazers, then the Rockets, then the Blazers, then the Rockets, then the Blazers. So it almost went 7 games.
Wow.
And then this time was like Blazers, Oklahoma, Blazers.
Yeah, I think that's right.
So they only won one. But yeah, there's that information.
Okay.
And now for the hot top. I think despite all this information, we're still going to have a short podcast, but that's okay.
Oh, okay.
We'll see. We'll see how Tristan reacts to this next topic.
Ooh.
There's one more, and I guess she doesn't... You know what? Let's save it. So the two movies that we both had went over that we hadn't seen was Jackie Brown and Natural Born Killers.
Yep.
Won't go over them again. It's a lot of information, whatever.
But interestingly, we both blindly picked something related to Quentin Tarantino.
Exactly. Which brings me to my hot top.
Okay, here we go.
So Tristan had mentioned, I think that Quentin is tied up in that Me Too thing. Not necessarily that someone accused him, but had supported someone in some sort of way, and it caused problems. Well, I can see why. Now, you can do your own research, make up your own mind. I can't see in any sort of context that this would be a good argument. Now, Quentin Tarantino is a great writer, so maybe you can come up with things which like, well, I meant it in this way, I don't actually believe it. But this quote from a tape that was released of a conversation that he had. Well, Quentin Tarantino's quote that was from the tape that got released was, "It's not rape for these 13-year-old party girls."
Okay, yeah, this is coming back to me now. Fuck you. That's a terrible thing to say. It is rape every time. Ages of consent are in place for a reason. It's rape every time somebody doesn't consent, whether they're 13 or 50. And it is especially rape when they are too young to make an educated decision on the matter. That's why statutory rape laws are in place.
So that brings us to obituaries.
It's a whole lot of info, dude.
Yeah, there's a lot of information. And, I think maybe we'll put a delay on the next one. And so the thing is, Tristan and we do sit down and we decide what topics do we want to talk about. And we do that independently of each other so the other person doesn't know. Then we choose movies that we haven't seen, hopefully, that the other person has. We try to do, so it's written in that way where we try to intentionally think, I think that they would have seen this, but I haven't. We do pick our obituaries. Obviously, if you have been listening, you might have noticed that we are going state by state, so that is intentional. We picked that ahead of time. And I do, after editing a podcast, go and try to research information that we didn't know from that podcast. But other than that, nothing else is scripted. So if you're wondering why this is so boring, are we good writers? Still probably no.
Right.
But it's not, none of it's righted. It's not right. None of it's written. So not necessarily that we're going to write an episode, but maybe we'll put a little delay. Maybe we'll put a little delay so we can kind of think more. Tris can think about what topics she wants. I can think about them, but then actually, put thought behind it instead of randomly just like, let's talk about Leo DiCaprio.
Ooh, that is a hot top.
And why are we talking about it? I don't know. I just thought, let's do that.
Let's do that.
Yeah. So maybe we'll put a little bit more thought behind the next one since, it will be the season ender unless my computer deletes this one again. And then we'll have 2 lost episodes, both of which will not come back. I just have an old computer.
Yep.
But, yes. So that's why this one is this way. And it's still the same time and it's just a bunch of ranting. And mainly just me talking at Tristan.
Like our lives?
Yes.
No, I'm just kidding.
She's not. She hates me.
I don't. Do you want me to go first with the bits?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So our first person here is Stuart Colvin Jr. He was born in 1929 and passed away in 2019. He was 89 years old. Let's see here. He's a graduate of Blair High School, and he served in the National Guard, 115th Infantry, 29th Division, for 8 years as a staff sergeant.
Boom!
Boom! There it is. Womp! There it is.
Whomping Willow, there it is.
Fun. He was a 50-year member of Silver Spring Masonic Lodge and a Royal Arch Chapter in Montgomery Commandery, number 13 Knights Templar. He was a fireman and a senior construction manager for over 50 years. He's survived by his wife of 67 years, Mary Lou Colvin. Their 3 children, 7 grandchildren, all sorts of nieces and nephews. He was a 50-year member of the Silver Spring Woodside United Methodist Church, and he was preparing and serving the Holy Sacraments for 13 years. He had a celebration of life, and that's was last Saturday. So he was in and around the Washington, D.C. area. That's the state that we're on today, is D.C., District of Columbia.
Round and about.
Round and about.
Yes. Well, one of the things that we did discuss, which I'll bring up again this time, is that, again, like, not that one life is more important than the other, but what I have noticed, I think the last time and also this time, I couldn't really find, most of the time people have a lot to say to them besides, here's who they're leaving behind, here's who their parents were, here's where they're born, like at least his interests and stuff. I haven't been able to find that. One thing that I didn't bring up last time, which I'm glad I remembered this time, is that it's really nice this person is not young.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe the whole young people dying thing, that fad's over. We'll see.
Oh, my God.
So for my obituary today, District of Columbia, as we said, was for Norma S. Dove. Age 86, originally from Boone, Iowa. She died April 18th, 2019. Spent most of her adult life in Northern Virginia. She retired from the Federal Reserve in Washington, D.C.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the Federal Reserve. That's kind of a cool job.
Yeah. Well, I think I'll talk to you about one more thing.
Okay.
Really quick, just to see if I edit other stuff out and there's room for this. But well, actually, this isn't for you. It's for me and for other people listening. I just want you to know that it seems, although it may seem that Tristan and I, or at least Tristan does not love me at all, she's actually a very sweet, sweet wife and bought me a super cool pin of Air Bud, which is on my jacket now. She's bought me a few pins, that's one of them. The latest one, accompanied by Jade Leno in a Canadian tuxedo.
Yep.
Holding a skateboard.
Yeah.
And that's pretty great, and I love it.
Good, I'm glad.
Yeah, it's really good.
Thanks, bud.
You want to do our sign-off?
What's that?
All right.
Some other form of large cat.